It's a bitter contest between two old rivals. It's pretty prestigious to rule over the territory of 20 million people. Now it's turned into a contest between, of course, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party and the two-time incumbent Aam Aadmi Party led by Arvind Kejriwal. And as you've mentioned before, exit polls are predicting that the BJP is going to take Delhi. And this is pretty significant, The Aam Aadmi Party, which has ruled for the last 10 years or so, came and rose to power on an anti-corruption campaign. This party is seen as the party of the Aam Aadmi, which means the common man. And especially given the BJP sort of loss of absolute majority in the centre elections last year. This is pretty significant. It shows that the BJP is, potentially going to sweep the capital. And of the, 2 out of 3 state elections they've won in this last year. So this could be their third one. It's important to say that exit polls do have a bit of a patchy record. These are the same exit polls that were projecting the Modi government was going to win 400 seats, which they fell well short of. So, while the cries are loud and election fervour is up, it's to be taken with a grain of salt.
Okay, as we do wait for the official results, I think on February the 8th, what we're also seeing is that dozens of Indian nationals who have been accused of entering the US illegally have been deported back to the state of Punjab. So what's been the reaction in India to Donald Trump's hard line on immigration and how it's impacting on India?
Yeah, this is huge news here in India, Girish. Yesterday afternoon, we saw 104 Indian, nationals deported to back here in Punjab. This is the first country outside of the Americas that has been impacted by President Trump's immigration crackdown. It's huge. I mean, the Indians, here, the External Affairs Minister just about an hour ago, he sort of said that, this is something that India is going to cooperate with, if we need to be moving towards legal migrations rather than illegal migrations. And of course, people-to-people exchanges, are one of the main bedrocks of our deepening ties, India's deepening ties with the US. And so what we've seen is, India's sort of senior ministers come out and really back this policy. So this is, there's nothing new about this particular policy. I think it's important to say since 2009, more than 15,000 Indian nationals have been deported back to India. So, this is something that the government wants to make very clear that there's nothing different about this particular deportation. So, now what we're going to start seeing is, a crackdown on the agents that have facilitated these kinds of illegal immigrations, these so-called donkey routes to the US. So, this is what the Indian government has said. And another part of their policy right now in accepting these people back is to make sure that there's rehabilitation centres set up for them. So there's a pathway back home for them.
Yes, and all of those 100 or so deportees who were returned, what's happening to them?
Yeah, that's right. Look, they're being processed. Yesterday we saw these images of men shackled, coming out of these planes. There's also women and children that are back now. We saw these images of them being processed in Punjab and being, transported back to their home states. There's people from Punjab, from Gujarat, various different states. So they have, it's important to clarify, they haven't, broken any immigration laws in India. They all sort of, it seems to be that they've all taken sort of flights to America or Latin America and made their way legally there. But over here, they're not facing any criminal charges.
And of course, next week will be a big one for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's meeting with Donald Trump in the US, and we know that they do get along quite well. So what can we expect from that trip?
Yeah, Girish, look, over the last few presidencies, the US-India relation has gotten deeper. I think Prime Minister Modi was one of the first to congratulate President Trump after his inauguration, calling him his dear friend. There are, a few things that the two have to talk about. Of course, the deportations are the latest ones, but, we've also got, a important security relationship with the US here. The sort of main factor being containing China in the Indo-Pacific, and of course, India shares shares a border, so he's very much on the coal face. So, their securities ties will, we project them to stay stable. India has purchased billions of dollars in military hardware from, the previous Biden administration, and we only expect that relationship to get deeper. Trade may be a different story. We've already seen, President Trump's willingness to use tariffs as a political sort of card, a foreign policy tool. He's previously described India as the tariff king. So far, we haven't seen sort of the same sort of tool being used against India, but it may well be on the cards. And of course, the US is, India's largest export market. So if those tariffs do hit India, it's going to be, it's going to spell bad news for domestic businesses. So they've got a few things to talk about.
Okay, we'll watch that meeting next week with a lot of interest. Meghna Bali in New Delhi, thank you so much.
Thank you.